Broadcasting from our studio in Boston, Solutions Review is proud to showcase Inside Jam in the Solution Spotlight, a unique online event for industry professionals.
I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review, and welcome to this special Solution Spotlight focused on how to generate sales leads through the Inside Jam. Our editorial team here at Solutions Review launched the Inside Jam in 2019 as a social media celebration of enterprise technology best practices. Over that time, participation has grown so much that we have now built it into a permanent, always-on tech event at InsideJam.com. And it is on that site that every software vendor will be given a solution showcase space to promote your products, platforms, and services to a highly targeted audience of implementers, decision makers, and end users. Think of your solution showcase space as a booth at an always open enterprise tech Expo Hall. So let me get into it and show you what we've built at InsideJam.com and why you want to open an interactive and engaging solution showcase space. Now, the first thing you'll notice when you get into the Inside Jam is that we have built the platform to replicate the involvement that previous Inside Jams, which were social media celebrations of enterprise technology, to really replicate that. So what you'll see on the left-hand side in the Get Involved section are poll questions, best practices, posts and videos, predictions, the Demo Slam, which is a place where folks can put their short videos. We'll come back to why that is a good thing later, where you put them on your space. Inside Jam Popcorn is kind of a light, as you can imagine, space. And then we have obviously places where people can suggest topics and other things for the Inside Jam. And then in the end, how to build a showcase for any solution provider. And what we're really doing here is we're making it feel very much like it is an expo hall. So you'll see a credential image with showcase access. And there are basically 3 packages for showcases that you can take advantage of. Everyone will always have a free showcase. So this isn't something that you have to pay for. Every company in the enterprise technology space will be able to have free visibility on InsideJam.com. As you go further along, you'll see featured content down the left-hand side. This is all the Solutions Review contributed content that is coming in from our solutionsreview.com contributed content program. So you're seeing lots of thought leadership coming out of Progress Software, StreamSets, Interrupt, Zerto. These are typically connected to our editorial staff from either the solution providers directly or through public relations companies. We also are going to have Inside Jam TV. This is going to be regularly scheduled video programming. Right now we have Friday expert jam sessions each week where we have a revolving collection of experts who are participating in best practices conversations on Friday. We're also going to be launching an ERP show on Wednesday and a cybersecurity show on Tuesdays. And again, we're looking for folks to want to participate in that. The other element that you're going to see a lot of is what we call expert spaces. And expert spaces are the incredible collection of experts that we have assembled to be a part of the conversation and thought leadership here at the Inside Jam. So these are all folks that we've been connected with at Solutions Review over the years. They are now building out their spaces and putting in their thought leadership in articles and content that they're creating here on the Inside Jam. So if you'll drill down into them, you'll see some really incredible places with a lot of thought leadership from these independent experts. And again, it's a great way for attendees to be able to engage with all of these best practices that are being presented. And then ultimately, further on down, you're going to have the Showcase Expo Hall themselves. They're broken out by the kind of classic space categories that are data and analytics, backup and disaster, security solutions, cybersecurity, network solutions, WorkTech solutions, CRM. These are all categories that we're covering at Solutions Review through all of our multi-site Solutions Review sites. And we're now replicating that in the Insight Jam. So each of these spaces will have a collection of solution providers. And this is where the lead generation begins to happen pretty specifically. So every Insight Jam insider who is registered to be in the Insight Jam can now explore, research, and connect with solution providers. The way to do that is by either clicking on the Join Us button here or clicking down on More Details, which ultimately is going to give you a nice little tabbed version of what the space is and what this company is providing. But ultimately, in order to get all of the details, you would click on the Join Us button. This is now officially a lead. As I join the astronomer space, I am now a member of the astronomer space and a lead for astronomer. What astronomer will have created, as they've done here, and what we would encourage everybody to create, is that welcome page, which would have, again, much like you would see in an Expo Hall at a tech conference, a brief embedded demo. In this case, it's just a short 10-minute demo about Airflow 101. Secondarily, what you have here is you have a call to action about pricing that would drive folks not only to learn more within the Insight Jam, but now it can also send folks directly to your website. But back at Insight Jam, you have these places where all of your content will exist. A feed, obviously, for any thought leadership and new pieces of content that you're presenting. There's an interactive chat feature. If anybody has any questions and they want to interact with your space and the moderators that you've assigned to your space. And then in the end, you want to put up resources, much like you would at a trade show booth with case studies. In this particular case, there's several case studies around Airflow that are available, as well as any other product sheets or anything else that you'd like to share with folks that are coming into your showcase space. So what you get here is the ability to present a demo, the ability to interact, the ability to drive folks from Insight Jam to your website, and ultimately the ability to capture leads through folks doing research by drilling down into your space to be able to learn more. And in the end, that is what we think is going to be an incredibly valuable set of leads, because in the first step, they are self-qualifying to become a member of the Insight Jam, so there's a gate that they need to go through which qualifies them in one way. And then secondarily, as they drill down and do research on your showcase space, they are consciously opting in to become a member of your space and a lead for your solution. So as you can see, there's an awful lot going on here with regard to lead generation. We very specifically designed a lead generation element so that solution providers would get excited about becoming a part of the Insight Jam and invite prospects. And I would expect to invite customers as well to be a part of your space and potentially be able to act as a reference within your space for any other prospects that are coming through. But there's a lot of lead generation elements, there's a lot of content elements, there's a lot of expert content that's being created, and we would love there to be a lot of thought leadership coming out of the solution providers as well. And in the end, we want to make it as much of an interactive space as possible so we can get as many folks to come to the Insight Jam and feel like they're getting some real value out of it. We think one of the most valuable parts of it will be the research aspect within the whole Expo Hall collection of showcase spaces. We think we're going to make it very easy and very attractive for people to be able to learn very quickly about all of the solution providers that are available in any one particular category. So now I'm going to bring in a couple of guests that I know very well, a couple of guests that I've been working with on the Insight Jam over the past 9 months. That is Tim King, our executive editor at Solutions Review, and Bob Eve, who is a senior data strategist, former software CMO, and also the chairman of our board of advisors of experts here at Solutions Review and Insight Jam. Thanks, guys, for being with me.
You bet.
Thanks, Doug.
So, Tim, I'm going to start with you because I think the first question any good vendor should be asking is, okay, this all looks good. How are you going to get an audience? How am I going to get leads if there's nobody there? How are you going to bring people into the Insight Jam? And I think that's a reasonable question to ask, and it's certainly one that we have spent a lot of time over the years perfecting, right? How did we build an audience at Solutions Review? We're up to 10 million people annually. I mean, there's no question we have influence, but how do we move them from following Solutions Review, reading Solutions Review, going to solutionsreview.com, and to now coming to the Insight Jam and ultimately connecting with all the solution providers that are going to be there in the Expo Hall?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we already have this Solutions Review is built off this great SEO effect, right? We already have this great SEO that dominates search for a wide variety of keyword queries associated with all of these enterprise technology topics that we're talking about. And so, building off of that, really, what the Insight Jam is going to be, it is and is going to continue to be, is a culmination of everything we've learned about community building over the last however long we've been at this, a decade now. And so with our kind of knowledge of how to do lead gen for these very same enterprise tech companies, and the fact that, we've got a reach of over 200,000 on social media, we're adding this, magnifying effect, this network, this better network effect of the experts, right? So we're effectively going to double our reach on social media. And so we have the social media, we have the SEO piece, and we have a ever increasing database of enterprise technology folks who are downloading our buyer's guides, syndicated content, and other resources.
Yeah, and we combine that with ultimately the platform that we've built Insight Jam on. Has an entire invitational system that we're now using. So not only can we invite people, every new member that comes into Insight Jam has the ability to send out invitations to join them, and you create this network effect. And we think it's going to grow relatively quickly. But I'm curious, as you've been using it, and I have seen how you've built your influence, and it's quite amazing how much of an influencer you now are. Where do you see vendors starting to bring people into the showcase pages themselves directly?
Yeah, so it's another great aspect of the Insight Jam. So let alone all the great content we have every year through these events. Now all this great content will be there all permanently, and as much as our experts and vendor community want to share. But it's great. The Insight Jam has a great, very easy to use invite module. It allows you to quickly and without much pain at all upload a CSV or connect to a marketing list or invite by email. Very easy, auto queues everything. Once you hit the send button, you're done. You can drop the mic and walk away. But what's great about it too is it tracks. It has like we talked about the article analytics. There's a tracker in there, and there's a unique badging system in the community. So it's cool. You can actually see the community grow, measure your own impact, and earn those badges.
One of the things that I think is kind of interesting about the Insight Jam is the idea of inviting your stuck prospects, right? So every funnel for every solution has more prospects that have gone dark, are stuck, are not moving. I mean, what do you think about those sorts of funnel challenges when you're dealing with an enterprise technology sales team?
Well, I think it's an important point because prospects do get stuck. You've invested a lot of marketing effort to get them to this point. You've engaged with them. The sales organization's engaged with them. But for some reason, whatever you're doing isn't moving them forward. So what can the same techniques and the same way you're going about it just is not going to break through the jam, so to speak. And so what is it? Is there an alternative, a complementary way to kind of come at that same prospect? And it might be, just a different platform. It might be the more independent expert positioning of the content. It might just be that they need to feel part of something, and maybe they don't feel like they're part of your sales cycle, but they do feel a part of a data management community or as a cyber security community. And when they're part of that, then they see this content. They maybe view it in a whole different way, or maybe that's what breaks the ice. So I think I think you have to look at it as just don't keep pounding the same nail, or doing the same activities and expecting a better result. We've done that. Yeah, I mean, you guys have probably really optimized a lot of that, and the great tools out there to do that. But what's your plan B? And I think this could be a good plan B for some of those prospects.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what we really wanted to focus on today, which is how a solution provider can use a platform like InsightJam to do some lead generation. The minute we showed it to you, you saw the opportunity available for marketing to do some lead generation. Can you talk a little bit about how you perceive InsightJam and the lead generation?
Just step back for a moment. What are my objectives as a CMO? I need to create a unique market position. I need to deliver messaging and content that really validates, reinforces, takes that market position and brings it to life. And then, fill the pipeline. But there's really a content marketing theme throughout all of this. So let's step back and think about what are your content marketing options. And I realize this is kind of a complex slide, but let's kind of break it down a little by little. We're using the Harvard Business Review 2x2 format that everybody's familiar with, but we're really kind of balancing what's the source of the content, and then who's the source of the content, and what's the engagement platform. And really the question is, in our over-communicated world, how do we break through? How do we break through the noise? How do we really get that right message into the marketplace, and a message to people, an audience in a high trustworthy manner? And so what I like about InsightJam is we've kind of gone with this validated subject matter experts, kind of going up the y-axis, and we've also gone with a very domain-specific sort of organization, so that it really is just the cybersecurity people, the data management content, cybersecurity content, etc. And by doing that focus, you really can build on the trust, that you can get the audience focus, and you can really be where the right people are making the right decisions on this technology. I've got some examples on the board there, and we, like down in the bottom corners, LinkedIn or X. We kind of all understand Twitter. It's just full of content from all kinds of people, and it's not very engaging but on the other hand, everybody in this call has probably sponsored a Gartner summit and spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on that summit. Why? Because the audience is very focused. It's the right people. And, it's the kind of people they're going there to hear. Who are they going there to hear? Gartner experts. So really, you can just see they're going where the people that they trust are. And really, that's why we've really positioned InsightJam right up there in that same quadrant with the Gartner summits, and really focused industry sites and publications, but high focus on validated subject matter experts. So if you want to think about all of this, how do we net this out? What would be the value proposition to you as a marketer, at least through my lens? I think there's three reasons to think about these gold solutions showcases and really just sponsorship in general around Insight Jam and investment there of your time and your people and your efforts. First is, it's like location, location, location in real estate. This is audience, audience, audience. I mean, these are definitely the right people that have joined this Insight Jam community and have been the longtime readers of Solution Review, and that audience is just growing every day. But the right people in the right place, it's online, it's where they want to be, and it's all the time, 365, 24 is in there somewhere. But you've got an opt-in community. They've chosen to be there. And oh, by the way, you get the list. You know who they are. Second is a high fidelity engagement. There's available chats, invitations, polls, questions. So any content that's published is also supported with an interaction and an engagement. And then there's other things like events and articles and case studies that are sort of ongoing and living, those resources that are there all the time. And through that active engagement and these great resources, you can break through the clutter of all the other things that your audience, your target audience, is probably overwhelmed with today. Finally, I really see this importance of an authoritative source. Just like, why do people go read the Gartner reports and that sort of thing? Well, we've got these experts here who are really thought leaders. And I think this is a chance for you as a vendor to promote and position your thought leaders. You're out, your CTO who does all the speaking tours, your thought leaders, your evangelists. Use them to provide the content and position the content here. And that creates a validation by association, because as Doug said, we've got over 24 experts, and now we're positioning your experts alongside them. And that's a great validation. And finally, we all understand the other way you talk about authoritative source in terms of search engine optimization, et cetera. So by building your site, by putting in content, you get the backlinks. All these articles and efforts are all search engine optimized themselves. So you really have a good chance to enhance other efforts, in the rest of your marketing efforts as well. So those are the three reasons I think that I get excited about the Insight Jam and what it would mean to you guys as software or technology providers.
I in this particular event, I feel less a host and more a guest, because ultimately, I very much helped build Insight Jam, and I feel strongly that it's a great replica of the Expo Hall. And I've been to many events, Bob. I know you've been to many events, and I'm sure you've had many meetings in many conference rooms around, what we're going to do for this particular event. How many people are we going to send to man the booth, and how many, dollars are we going to spend and what are we going to bring there, and what's going to be our, swag, and what, all the decisions that have to go into that one show. And ultimately, the only reason why you're doing it is because that the people who are going to be walking through that Expo Hall are incredibly qualified, and you're going to have that high fidelity engagement. What would you recommend a company do with regard to thought leadership as a solution provider? I know that you've been involved in organizations that would literally have a resident thought leader creating content on a regular basis. Why would you do that? I mean, what do you see as the value of really kind of leaning into a thought leadership program as a solution provider?
Well, I think it's to take the conversation up a level. I mean, your product guys can give great, and your product people, your solution sales engineers, stuff can give great problem-solving conversations on a technical level. But how does that fit in the business context? What are the real challenges going on? How do these multiple pieces and parts and multiple technologies fit together? In my years when I was a thought leader at TIBCO, I had a lot of times I didn't talk about TIBCO at all. I would talk about, the kind of the generic challenges in a data management, in a distributed data management environment, and how that keeps evolving as as each new wave of new technology comes along, and really how to think about that problem as an exec, as an IT exec at General Motors, or an IT exec at Chase Manhattan Bank. You have to think about, through their lens, the bigger problems they're trying to solve, all their moving pieces. And so you use thought leaders to kind of be in a peer-to-peer conversation more at the executive level, as opposed to just the technical level per se. So you can really aim content and position your thought leaders to really have that kind of a conversation as a complement to your sales team, as a complement to your product marketing people, as a complement to your solution engineers.
Yeah, Tim, do you have some perspective on that? So I know our contributed content program is really thought leadership in action. Can you talk a little bit about some of the content that we've received? It's not typically self-promotional, right?
No, there's no self-promotion. In fact, we have a pretty rigorous set of contributor guidelines that those guidelines are what they follow to get published on our site. And so on the evangelist point, yeah, it's a great point. And it's one thing we're seeing in the enterprise too. Companies who didn't have product evangelists a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they have them now. And the companies that don't have them, we expect that trend to continue. We expect more vendors to do that sort of thing. And from my perspective as well, Bob's right. A lot of the evangelists that are in the ilk of Bob Eve is they're not talking directly about their vendor that much. They're trying to add value. They're trying to break down complex problems in a way that help people to either evaluate technologies or put them to good use. And a lot of our content kind of follows down that path. The contributed content program is everybody, all the contributors who publish there are effective thought leaders, right? And they're trying to establish that thought leadership in a more permanent, visible way. But we certainly see a lot of it, and it's something we expect to continue.
All right. Well, Tim, Bob, thanks very much for this guest appearance. It's been a pleasure working with both of you to build out the Insight Jam. I really am excited about this. I think it's just exactly the kind of community that enterprise technologies deserves. I don't think that that right now there is a real community space where you can get not only vendors, but these experts, and then obviously the end users that are our bread and butter audience at Solutions Review. So thanks very much for helping to build it out, and I'm really looking forward to working with both of you going forward.
Thanks, Doug.
See you guys at the jam.
Well, there you have it. The Insight Jam in this special Solution Spotlight. We're really excited about InsightJam.com, and we're looking forward to having all of you open up showcase spaces as soon as possible. Honestly, we're going to make it a winner, and we're really looking forward to all of the lead gen opportunities and all of the community building opportunities and all of the expert content opportunities that we can create there. Until next time, I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review. Thanks for watching.